Hey, what's going on? E. Jones, bottom to the top sports, 98.9 Chucktown, ESPN radio. What's really good? I got my guy in the building.
Another Sunday fun day. We are here. How you feeling this morning? Now, first of all, I want to just say last week you was a little tired. I could tell because I can hear that pop in your voice this morning. How you feeling on this Sunday?
I'm popping. I'm popping. What's really good?
You popping?
I'm popping.
I know one thing, man. Sports is a beautiful time when we in the finals, man. And now let's not even talk about the game. Let's talk about your predictions and what you feel. I'll let you start off and then I'll give my opinion on it. But I mean, what do you expect from this series with Dallas and Boston, E?
Well, we already see what's going on and how things have been, how things have played out, right? Mm-hmm. So, listen, I'm going to say two things. My emotional pick is with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a big Kyrie Irving fan. I love the vindication story, the ties to the Bronx. Hey, listen, if you want to get mad at me for being emotional, so be it. I'm owning it. I'm going with that emotional pick. I think Boston is a more well-balanced and a better overall team, especially defensively. But my emotional pick is the Mavs. In my head, it's saying Boston, but I'm saying I got two picks.
Got it.
I got two picks. I got an emotional pick and a logical pick.
Okay, you sounding like me when it comes to the Knicks Lakers.
Exactly. I'm switching it right now. I'm in the middle. I don't usually dance like this, but I bought some dance shoes, so I showed up to the party late, but I'm here.
You here? Okay. You know what? I honestly feel that I like what you said because I am a Kyrie fan, and I love what Luka's doing, and big shout out to Shamgard from New York City. You know what I mean?
Hello.
So, I like to see what they cooking. But it's like reality kicks in. And reality is, if Boston is on and they're hitting them threes, or, and my thing is, like, I even said this. I really feel that Porzingis and Drew is going to be the X factors in this series. How you feel about that?
Good point. Porzingis brings another rim protector. He brings somebody that can deck it and get to the rim. Drew Holiday is a lockdown defender, and over the last 5 games, he's been averaging north of 13 points. So he's giving you the points. And somebody you didn't mention, Derek White. He's going to be a guy who's going to, he's getting 17 a game in the playoffs. So you got to make mention of him. And then you add that to the two-headed monster of Brown and Tatum. I mean, Al Horford can knock down 7 threes at any given time. They're just they got a lot of weapons. Yeah. And to your point about Porzingis and Drew Holiday, they will be extremely important if Boston sees themselves going into the winner's circle. They got to play well.
I tell you one thing, man, like I said, hey, when Boston is hitting them threes, they are very hard to beat, man.
They are, but, I'm going to throw something out at you. Luka got the highest average in the NBA for points. He's played the most minutes. He's got the highest three-point percentage. He's got the most steals throughout the play. Luka's playing superhuman right now. So, and guess what? The Mavs are number 1 in team defense in the playoffs. That's surprising. But now when you look at it, Boston doesn't have a cakewalk because these guys are locked in defensively. Kudos to Jason Kidd and the mentality he brings and the wisdom that he's imparting upon these players and being able to get them to understand that defense is going to win these championships. Luka leads the freaking playoffs in steals. That sounds crazy.
This is the same person they spoke about and said plays no defense and can't guard nobody.
Well, hello, Luka. Show him what sidebar, Al. Did you see Michael Finley grab that beer out of his hand when he was in the locker room? That was hilarious.
That was very funny.
that was hilarious.
That was funny.
Hold the beer and keep playing D, Luka.
Yo, it's just, I am so proud of the Mavericks, man, because when you look at the history of the Dallas Mavericks, they've never really been a defensive team. They've always had a bunch of offensive weapons, even when you go back to Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, Steve Nash, Michael Finley. Michael Finley was more of a two-way player, but you're right. The history of the Dallas Mavs, even going back to Rolando Blackman, Mark Aguirre, Derek Harper. Derek Harper plays some D, but those guys were putting the ball in the basket, and they were formidable. Roy Tarpley. I mean, they had those Mavericks teams were like contending for championships. They were pushing the Lakers, giving them all they wanted. But you're right. The history of the Mavs is run and gun, outscore you, fast pace, up and down style of basketball, and not so great on the defensive end. That's why I got to give Jason Kidd his flowers, man. He came in there with an approach and a mentality. He was able to rein Kyrie in. I think you're seeing Jason Kidd's effect specifically on Kyrie and his maturity and how he embraced him and he allowed Kyrie to be him, but also tweak some things about his game. And you see Kyrie being a little bit more intentional. And boy, is he like blossoming into a great leader.
I mean, we both are Kyrie fans. We both know Dedrick, you know, yep. and I just want to say,
Ice.
Big shout out to Ice, the only person or a player gave a signature sneaker to his dad. That's kudos.
Wow. Let's talk about that.
That's
Kyrie Irving shining his dad as a signature, the first signature athlete on his Kyrie Irving line on the Anta sneaker brand. Talk about gangster. I love it, Kyrie. Salute to you, champion.
Well, that's just, and, I believe that's just knowing who you are and what you're doing, where you have the leverage and you can do it. Most players don't feel the need to do or make a move like that, man. And I hope he's opening players' eyes, because didn't Giannis go through something similar like that with his brother?
Well, we know that Giannis's brother is in the league because of him. We know that Bronny James is being looked at heavily because of his dad. So when you have the influence, at the end of the day, it's important to use it, because is Dedrick Irving worthy of having a signature shoe? I don't know, but Kyrie has the power to do it. So why not? Everybody else is doing it for their peoples. Why not?
Well, let's look at Giannis. Giannis was supposed to be Adidas. Because Adidas did not give his brother a shoe, he went with Nike.
Yo, at the end of the day, you have the leverage. You got to know what you're doing. I'm in a lot of these conversations now, El, with different people and agents in the portal and all of this stuff. And I'm realizing, man, at the end of the day, it's not about what you're worth. It's what you can negotiate. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. Jaylen Brown, MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. People, including me, not the best player. I still don't agree that he's the best player on this team. I still don't agree. I think Tatum's better. But at the end of the day, he gets MVP of the finals, and if Boston wins a chip, where the pundits stand. Then he's worth that money. They happy to pay him all $400,000 of those smackers.
Man, especially if you bring home a ring.
A ring and an MVP.
I don't know, but I don't think he's gonna get past Tatum this go round.
Yo, listen, man, that boy was balling last series. Did you see the thing about Stephen A. Smith when he was saying this Tatum, which color wasn't so marketable? Did you see that?
I heard something about it. What did he say?
He was saying that Jaylen Brown thinks he's better than some people, and he might be less than marketable because people don't see him as approachable. And I'm saying to myself, like, this dude is everything that you ask for in a professional athlete. He's conscious, he's talented, he's well-spoken, he's well-read, he's educated, he's empathetic, he's a hard worker, he's gotten better, he's developed. It seems like he's easy to get along with. Like, he has a connection to his people and his ancestors. Like, for us and our culture, you don't ever want to be throwing stones at a guy who we want kids to look up to, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to throw anybody under the bus, but you got guys out there, doing some of the wrong things and promoting, hookahs and all kind of stuff. You can do what you want to do on your own time. But when we get these heroes, man, we got to elevate them, and we got to know that there's a certain level of protection that we have to give as the media to people who are doing it the right way. I don't care if you black, green, red, brown, or orange. If you are embracing the role as being a role model and you're talented and you're doing it the right way, we should be celebrating Aaron Judge, right? We should be. We should be advocating for him to get the most money, because guess what? He hasn't had any missteps in his career. He's been amazingly productive. The Yankees have won. He's setting records. Like, what more do we want from the kid? Like, come on, man.
That's a fact, E. That's a good point.
People just want media sometime, and we got to be careful that there's a balance to being able to. Sometimes it could be such thing as over-reporting.
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah, well, I mean, it's no rules on media, so
yeah,
not like there's a guideline.
Self-govern, though, man. I'm sorry. I'll cut you off.
That's all right.
But I mean, self-govern sometimes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but there's no lines. There's people cross lines all the time. There's no penalties. People actually say lies. Then you find out later that it wasn't true. It was just for media, the exposure to whatever, vehicle that was. But I got some real media. You want to know what that is?
About spreading lies. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The real media is Kyrie's going back to Boston after I felt Boston didn't really treat Kyrie the way he was supposed to be treated. How you feel about that?
You think he's going to burn some sage again?
Oh, no, he's going to burn some sage and he's going to burn some nets.
Hopefully, I'm going to say this. Kyrie is so conscious and aware now. I think what he's going into a space of is peace. And he doesn't want to revisit what happened in Boston. I think he's going to be gracious and grateful. And inside of him, there's a burning sensation to just stick it to him and say, you didn't think I could bring a winner home. Well, look at me now. You got to do it on the court, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a story behind the story. They got rid of Kyrie so these two young guys could have a chance to have their own show and essentially bring home a title. Kyrie was the guy that they thought could lead it and they could support him. Now, like, who's the prevailing factor? Do they say, see, we got rid of you and look at this guy's bringing home? Or Kyrie just says, should have never got rid of me. Watch me celebrate and get this chip maybe next year. That's a story.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so hoping Kyrie go in there and cook.
Well, guess what? FanDuel's going to be seeing me this week. You need a parlay, hit me up at Eric Jones 1481. Holla at me.
Oh, man. I guess, let's switch it up a little bit.
What's up?
Wait, before we even move on, I wanted to ask you this because this is a very key thing to this series. Jrue Holiday. What do you feel?
I think as we just kind of alluded to earlier, Jrue has to be Jrue. He's got to get 12 to 14 points a game. He's got to get 5 assists, and he's got to get 4 rebounds. He does those numbers, Boston wins. Oh, and put in 2 steals. Boston wins.
Wow.
Because the defense we already know. I wonder if they're going to put him on Kyrie or they're going to put Derek White. What do you think the guard matchup is? Jrue Holiday on Kyrie or Luka?
Oh, no, they're going to have to put Jrue on Luka. I believe Jrue is a better defender than White.
White has the range, and he's the leading shot blocker for a guard in the league. So those long arms and those contests on those area code threes that Luka's shooting, they might think White's length might be a better fit on Luka, and they may think that on Kyrie, Jrue Holiday has the speed and the strength. I think that's probably a little known fact about Kyrie. Mm-hmm. People don't realize how strong and physical he is, and how he plays through contact, getting downhill. Yes, he shakes people, but some people he busts through and he actually finishes through contact using that great body control, ball movement, and just innate ability to be an acrobat in the air.
Yeah.
And, angles, touch, spins, all of that stuff.
Use both hands.
Yeah, ambidextrous nature is definitely a key to how effective he is. So I'm thinking Drew Holiday, those are the numbers 14, 5, 4, and 2.
Okay,
He
gotcha,
gets
gotcha.
that, they win a chip.
Got it. Yo, let's talk NFL. I just want to know why the richer get richer and the poor don't get a thing, because my poor Giants ain't get nothing.
I mean, all I'm going to say is this. The Giants management, year after year, are not addressing the main issues, right? And when you look at it, you got to spend some money in free agency. You got to be able to protect the quarterback, and you don't keep Saquon Barkley. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's this train going? How are you giving the fans something to be excited about? I don't love the management. I don't love the direction they're going in. I just think that I think they'll be better than what they were because where can you go but up from here?
Yeah.
But losing Saquon is like, what are we doing, guys?
Yes, pretty much, pretty much. I know one thing, Dak is looking really good in preseason.
Do we really have to talk about the Cowboys?
I'm going to be honest with you. I think Dak is going to have the best season he's ever had. And if the Giants or the Jets don't win a championship, I'm literally going for the Dallas Cowboys this year. And you want me to tell you why?
I don't even understand what's happening on this show right now. Is there a bad connection?
No, no, no. Let me tell you why I say
Is
that.
somebody screwing up the airwaves? The Black Elvis is going on record as saying he may root for the Dallas Cowboys. You better hope Pop and your family not listening to this, man. You might not be able to come home for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because one thing I've noticed about Dak, he's always been professional. And he's always tried to lead in the right way. And the media, going back to the media kills him. Now, Dak actually cracks the door sometimes for the media to eat him up. But at the end of the day, when you look at the top tier quarterbacks in the league, he's in the top 5. And I think he should get his just due.
You know what a bridesmaid is, L?
Yeah,
That's who Dak is.
that's cold. Oh, that's cold. All right, I don't even want to talk no more, Dak. What you said, and that's your guy. That's your team.
So you know why I got energy right now. I love Dak. I love him. But at the end of the day, the only thing people care about, the only thing I care about in Cowboy country in Dallas, we need a Super Bowl. It's been since the 80s since we won one. Like, hello? Like, when do we get another Super Bowl? So yeah, I'm happy that we win the division and we make it out of the first round or whatever the case may be. When are we gonna win the big one? Like, when is Dak going to get over that hump? When are you going to show up in the most meaningful games and be dominant? Otherwise, you're just a bridesmaid. And at the end of the day, he'll go in the Hall of Fame. He'll be known as one of the greats that never won. He'll be like Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley, who I love, both of them, by the way. But, they get killed because they never won nothing.
That's true. Never won anything. That is so
It's
true.
not like you don't have the pieces. So that's not the argument. Offensive line has perennially been one of the best in the NFL. You had Pollard, who we lost, and then we get freaking Ezekiel Elliott back. What?
Yeah, that was crazy.
So you see why I'm not really on this Dak bandwagon, on this Cowboy bandwagon. You could take my place, man. I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna sit out this football season. I'm gonna just report on it, and I'm not cheering. I'm not watching no games. Don't call me on Thanksgiving. I don't want no turkey drumstick. I don't want nobody jumping in the Salvation Army bowl. I'm over it.
You over it?
Listen, I'm over it. America's team. Blah 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 blah.
Let me ask you this: Patrick Mahomes, he's making $45 million a year. Now, from the looks of it, and I know he's probably got another 10 years to go, 8 years to go. But do you think he can go down in history as the best quarterback of all time?
I hope so.
Why so?
What's he got? 3 Super Bowls?
He's got 3 Super Bowls already.
What's the most that somebody has? 6? Tom Brady
6.
had 6?
The GOAT, Tom, he has 6.
How many years does he play? 7?
Yes.
I mean, conventional wisdom says he wins one every other year.
He wins one every other year, man.
And they got the same. They got a large contingent of their team still in place, so there's a chance that he might repeat.
Yeah, big chance.
Repeat.
Wow.
So, what do I think? I think he's 28 years old. To your point, I think he does have 8 to 10 more really good years left in him, and I think he could be the best of all time. He
Mm,
could be. He's
mm.
in. Well, quite honestly, L, based on his rate of production, he's in the conversation already.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's in the conversation already. And not only is a three-time Super Bowl champion, he's a two-time NFL MVP. He's a three-time Super Bowl MVP.
Yes. Yes, he's putting up Mike numbers.
So all I'm saying, L, in a very young career, he was drafted in 2017, and this is his 7th year. So go figure, my G. Like, what we talking about? We
Mm,
talking about if he gets in that number 4, you're gonna start hearing the grumblings and you're gonna start hearing people talk. And I don't
mm.
see him slowing down at all.
Yeah, if anything, he's picking up. I love his intensity too. That's what I really love about him. He's such a motivator.
And on top of his intensity, he brings a leadership to the team. Offensively, defensively, he's talking to guys. Give me one more stop. Give me that ball back. I got us, guys. Don't worry about it. Way to go, baby. Way to get a stop. You always see him when he's mic'd up, always rallying the guys, and it looks like they like following behind him.
Yeah, he's a
You can
real.
try to be a leader all you want, but if nobody's willing to follow, then that just makes you a guy with a big mouth.
Yeah, that means you're not a leader.
Hello.
Antonio Brown. I believe this guy is the truth. Highest paid wide receiver in the league right now. Bucks, oh man, they don't know what they have. I already know what they got, but how do you feel about Antonio Brown?
I'm over him.
You over him?
I'm over him.
Wow. Got it. Got it. Yo, before I even shift gears, because I wanted to just talk a little bit about soccer, but I got 2 different emails and I got to go back to it. E, how are you feeling right now about some of the people who's going into the portal and the outcome of it?
Well, I think that Arkansas did themselves a service by hiring Cal, and they got some really high-rated players. I
Mm-hmm.
think the Kentucky's doing what Kentucky does is using their resources and their brand to bring in high-level talent. I think Mark Pope is going to do a better job than a lot of people think. Um, I think the portal is what it is. They just passed the rule that the players can get paid directly, and it doesn't have to go through any negotiations with respect to uh, 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 signings or activations or showing up for events to get paid.
Yeah, what
You
do you
can
feel
just be
about that? I think that's a major thing when it comes to NIL.
it's just negotiation, right? Like we want to mask these things, and I think what the NCAA wants to eventually get to is to have a salary cap and just make it more of a business.
Mhm.
Like they want control. They want to regain control because they're seeing they're losing it. So this was a play for them to be able to say, you know what, this thing is getting out of hand. I want to get back in the driver's seat. I want to get back into this conversation. They see the wheels falling off.
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
But you know, when we look at the grand scheme of it, we say to ourselves, who are the major players in it? And it's going to be the same. It's going to be the UConns. It's going to be the Kentuckys. It's going to be the Kansases. And those guys can pay the most. And then somebody's going to come out of the woodwork. I don't know how this is going to impact Houston because, you know, they've done a good job at like just coaching up guys that are not really um, top 25 recruits, and
Mm-hmm.
Kelvin Sampson is always there. It sucked to see their best player get hurt this year and not really make a challenge for a national championship.
Yeah.
I think this was a good a chance as any for him, but you know they'll get back and they'll be good, but I just wonder if they'll be as good But Kelvin Sampson, you can't never count him out. He is a amazing coach.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, I mean, what's your predictions this year? I mean, just with the portal, and we're starting to see the outcome of where these kids are landing. Well, I mean, who do
UConn
you?
three-peat.
Whoa, that's where I was trying to go, and you said it. You really think they can do it?
I think they can do it. I think Curly's a really good coach. I think they got a lot of talent returning. They lost a lot of good, talented pieces, and guys played themselves into the Final Four. I think Hurley's got something special going on there. They're going to get challenged. I think that they won't be as dominant. And I don't know. I just wanted to say that for a fact. I don't know if they win it again, but I think they're in the conversation along with teams like Houston and Kansas and Kentucky. And I think you're going to get some surprises from some mid-major people that have got really a lot better along the years. You know, look at what FAU did last year. I love to see the sleeping giants come up and just surprise people.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a great look.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, name some of the kids that you know that went into the portal who won.
Well, the guys from OSL, um, Anthony Almanar, who's at Kentucky, went from FDU. Seydou Traore, who's been on the show before, went from Manhattan to Iowa. Khalil Brantley went from LaSalle to Oklahoma State. Um, Max Edwards went from George Washington to Duquesne. That was more of a lateral move. And FYI, guys, if you guys didn't know, all of those kids came from one school. But you know who's counting? Our Savior Lutheran in the Bronx. Shameless plug. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
All good, all good. That's what we're here for.
But I think you know DJ Wagner is obviously a kid who you have to make mention of going from Kentucky to Arkansas. Boogie Flan following Calipari to Arkansas. He's going to be a sleeper. I think that people, although he's not in the portal, and I know that's what people are talking about. I think Boogie Flan, in my opinion, will be an all SEC player. He will lead the SEC in assists, and I think that he's gonna be potentially a one and done. I'm saying it.
Wow.
I really like Boogie.
Wow, you must really like Boogie.
I like Boogie a lot.
I mean, hey, one thing I could say about Boogie, man, big games, he show up.
Yo, he's a talented kid, man, and he's really skilled. And I think DJ Wagner is in trouble.
Really? I thought they would probably be together.
Well, I think that what position is DJ Wagner?
Point guard.
And they got the other, and what position is Boogie?
Point guard.
And then they got the other kid from FAU that's transferring in. That kid averaged 20-something a game.
The guard, the dark-skinned guard?
Yes.
Oh, he's tough. Oh, that's an awesome pickup.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you do now? I mean, I don't know what kind of work DJ Wagner's putting in, but his first season was underwhelming. They brought Rob Dillingham off the bench, and he's a top 10 pick, which tells me, like, he was better than DJ, with all due respect.
Absolutely.
The kid Reed Shepard is a top 3 pick. He was a kid who was in the shadow of DJ Wagner. Hello, those two guys are going top 10, and you're going back to college.
You're going back to college, bud.
And that ain't no disrespect. DJ Wagner is a talented player. He's just got to get better. He can't really shoot it. His ball handling skills is, you know, kind of set up as like a wing player who can get to spots as opposed to be dynamic and shifty off the bounce. He's got to be able to not turn the ball over as much and make plays for others once he gets downhill. And he's got to shoot a better percentage from the field and from the three. And his defense, I love. I love his versatility and his length and the way he rebounds the guard position. He plays hard as I don't know what. But at the end of the day, you know, that production has to translate.
Yeah, definitely. I know one thing, it's that time.
Well, I appreciate you as always, my brother. On behalf of you and myself and all the good people at Bottom to the Top Sports and City Legends, thank you. D. Jones, Jerry Ice, what up?
What's really good? Everybody who supports, we really appreciate you. See you next week.
Yep.
Got to give that big shout out. Biggest shout out go to the man upstairs that open doors no man can close.
Peace.